my spirit just refined, like a phoenix from the ash. Find my strength from within. I am stronger than before. I know, let it go. Rise, rise, Home, I'll carry you in my heart. Hand in hand, I'll build again. No one tells you all always. My heart will break and expand. I am stronger than before. I know, let it go. Rise, rise, full release, winter sleep, spring new life, summer thrive. Full release, winter sleep, spring new life, summer thrive.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, particularly when I'm cleaning, and recently I stumbled upon this interview with an entrepreneur who was comparing focus in a business to sports. She was talking about how professional athletes like tennis players or cricket players have this tendency to mumble to themselves, watch the ball, watch the ball, watch the ball, watch the ball. And this concept, this phrase, it really resonated with me, as this is something I do all the time. Anecdotally, I think most of my first lands for many tricks came directly as a result of some kind of mantra to myself. I wasn't watching the ball, but when I was trying to get that 360 out of Casper, I was repeating to myself, like, scoop harder, scoop harder, scoop harder, scoop harder, to get that full 360-degree rotation. And when I was doing no comply 180's backside for the first time, I kept repeating to myself, just scoop backwards, scoop that foot backwards, 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 backwards. And doing those mantras, I do think led to landing those tricks. And my theory as to why this happens, or why this helps, is that there's definitely a lot going on when you're skateboarding. But as we skate, as we get better, our body tries to automate a lot of those processes so that we don't have to think about it anymore. Just like learning how to tie your shoes. At first, every time you tie your shoe, you have to think about what you're doing. But then over time, as you do it over and over and over again, you don't have to think about it anymore. Your body just knows how to tie its shoes. That pathway from brain to muscle is super efficient. So efficient, you don't have to think about it. Learning how to skate is different than learning how to tie your shoes, but I do think that the body tries to automate a lot of the processes that are going on while we skate. My theory is that when you focus on a very specific detail over and over again, you get to add that puzzle piece, so to speak, to this muscle memory, to this automation. For example, my kickflip. I have quite a bit of the kickflip down. I can roll, I can commit, I can flick. I do, however, let my back foot hang down a bit too low for my liking. After doing a couple kickflips now, quite a few, I think what I want my mantra today for this to be is to focus on the back foot forward, right? I want both of my feet to go forward to give the board more clearance and hopefully give it more time to flip, maybe bring it up a little bit higher. So I used today's session just to hyper focus on bringing my back foot up until eventually I shouldn't have to think about it. And this concept also applies to commitment, in my opinion. Right now, something similar is kind of playing out with my impossible attempts. For a long time, I couldn't dream of getting my feet back on the board. I couldn't even force myself to jump onto it. But now, as I'm getting better, as I've given it hundreds of tries probably, I'm starting to feel better about them. And now directing my focus, my dedicated focus, to leaning forward and trying to keep my front foot up, to desperately staying over the board even as my rep falls apart. Because I know from experience that over time these movements, these almost separate processes, committing, scooping, wrapping the board, they're slowly going to come together and merge into one movement. Why? So sometimes for specific attempts or even specific sessions, I try to hyper focus on one detail from each of my tricks. My varial kickflip is another great example of this. I can kickflip and I can pop shove it. So you'd think that it wouldn't be too hard to combine these motions, but whenever I actually go to varial flip, I completely lose the pop shove it. I've learned over time while practicing it that I need 90% of my focus to be on the pop shove it portion of this trick. So that when I go to attempt a varial flip, literally in my mind, I say pop shove, pop shove, pop shove. And during the tries, when I successfully narrow that focus down, I get better attempts. And over the session, I get better at narrowing my focus onto that detail, resulting in better tries and more lands. Today when I was working on kickflips, I was trying to focus on keeping my back foot up, and over time, focusing on my back foot got easier, and my kickflip attempts got better overall, I would say. They felt better, and I could tell I was lifting my foot up higher. But it's not a cure-all, of course. It's almost its own skill in and of itself. Early on when learning how to skateboard, I found myself very distractible. I would tell myself to flick a trick and then repeatedly fail to do that exact flick. But over time, I got better at it. I felt more connected to my body, I could feel the motions better, I was more confident and less afraid of my board, so I could focus more on these smaller details. Skateboarding will probably always be a rather individual... Oh, there's a woolly bear. Skateboarding will always be a rather individual challenge. Everyone is unique, but I still think that there's value to having discussions like this. So, what do you think? What have you experienced? Do you do this? And do you find it helpful? Or are you more on the side of whenever I think about the trick, I can't do it? There are definitely times when overthinking a trick makes it harder. But I think that's the nuance, right? The trick, the timing, the skater, it all matters. Anyways, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a good day. Where did that woolly bear go? There it is. Oh, he's going to my bag. He's just chilling now.